let's look at how we can use HTML headings effectively to recreate the experience we saw in Victor's video. First, I'd like to reiterate Rob's point that DOM order matters, which is also item 1.3.2 on the WebAIM checklist. Rob showed how it matters for focus order, but it also matters for the order read by the screen reader. In Victor's demo, you might have noticed how the heading list followed the DOM order and not the visual order of the page. That is actually true for screen readers in general. Since the screen reader, like any assistive technology, is interacting with the accessibility tree, which is based directly on the DOM tree, the order a screen reader is going to perceive will be directly based on the DOM order. Think of the page as perceived by desktop screen reader users as almost losing its second dimension. It's all serialized into a single stream of content. I can use a little snippet of JavaScript, which you can copy from the instructor notes, to list out the headings in the console. I can use a little snippet of JavaScript, which you can copy from the instructor notes, to list out the headings in the console. We have one H1 in this list, telling us the page's main topic. This is also echoed in the page's title in the header, so when switching tabs or windows, users know what page they're on. Then we have a series of H2s, which include both page structure things like contents, as well as article sections. Between some of those H2s, we also have H3s indicating subsections. Some of these are in the article contents, but some are also in the surrounding page contents. Within navigation menu, there are things like personal tools and languages. This page only goes down to H3, but we do have built-in heading tags going all the way down to H6 for very complex or long documents. Using headings to lay out page structure like this is mentioned in several WebAIM checklist items. 2.4.10 states individual sections of content are designated using headings where appropriate. 1.3.1 mentions semantic markup is used to designate headings H1. 2.4.1 mentions heading structure as a sufficient technique for bypassing blocks of content. And 2.4.6 discusses some details for writing useful headings. If you were really watching closely earlier, you might have noticed that not all of these headings are visible on screen. Wikipedia is using a technique where they place some headings off screen to make them visible only to screen reader users and other assistive technology. For complex applications, this can be a good way to accommodate headings when the visual design doesn't require or even have room for a visible heading. However, it's important not to go overboard with this technique. Remember that assistive technology users may well be able to see the screen, so going too far down the path of creating screen reader-only content can actually create a worse user experience for some users. Besides which, it can create a maintenance headache when it comes to things like internationalization.